Welcome to Finer Mindz. I'm your host, Katrina Owens, and today's episode is especially close to my heart. March is Finer Womanhood Month, one of the foundational principles of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And today, we are honoring the finer women of Sigma Omicron Zeta Chapter. This episode is about more than titles or positions. It's about how finer womanhood shows up in leadership, service, sisterhood, and everyday life. It's about women who lead with grace, courage, accountability, and heart. Today we celebrate who they are, how they serve, and the legacy they are building, one finer step at a time. Welcome to Finer Mindz. I'm your host, Katrina Owens. Today we have the extreme honor of speaking with some of our finer women in Sigma Omicron Zeta. Now, I've selected these women who embody finer womanhood through their service, leadership, and their actions. And today, we have Cheryl White. She's our chaplain, and she was most recently nominated as the Pearl of the Month for Finer Womanhood. Welcome.
Thank you, Katrina.
So I have a couple of questions for you, all right?
All right.
So, what does finer womanhood mean to you at this stage of your life?
At this stage of my life, finer womanhood to me means the way in which I walk.
Mhm.
So when people see me, I'm conscious of how I'm dressed, what my hair looks like, how I carry myself, because people see me coming and I want them to get the right impression. I don't want them to think I'm raggedy or anything like that. So I'm very conscious about how I present myself when I leave my home.
Gotcha. And how long have you been a member of Zeta Phi Beta?
1989, spring.
Girl,
Yes.
listen, you have been a member for quite some time.
I have.
All right, so let me ask you this follow-up question. When you first became a member in 1989?
I did.
Did you understand what finer womanhood was back in 1989?
I don't think I did. I just knew it was one of the principles. And it's interesting, though, because I had seen a Zeta that I don't think I ever really got to meet her. She was the sister of the young man my sister was dating. And I didn't know she was a Zeta until I went to University of Maryland College Park, Eastern Shore, for a step show. When I looked up, and there she was. And she was gorgeous. And I was like, oh, okay, Zeta. Put that in the back. Take a note.
Mhm.
Take a note. But I don't think at that time when I became a Zeta, that was the most prevalent principle in my life.
Yeah. So how do you think from 1989 to now it had resonated with you?
Mhm.
Tell me, did you have like mentors or did you just see other Zeta women modeling finer womanhood and you wanted to be more like that?
Okay. So with that, not really, only because of the life track that I was on with my husband. He was in the military.
Mhm.
So where we first went, there was no Greek life up there. Out in California, I was brand new Zeta. I was out there stepping with them. So I wasn't thinking about finer woman. It wasn't until we moved to Georgia and I raised my girls, and you think about, especially when you're a mom of a girl, you think about how you present yourself. And if you want them to look at you as the right type of role model, you got to think about the things you do and say. And so it was more so my girls. And then when I decided to start looking for the chapter, I looked at who was in the chapter. And I just paid attention and saw some good and saw some, but it was more so thinking about my girls and how I wanted them to perceive their mother.
Awesome. That's great. So you have a legacy now. So one of your daughters was paying attention to what you were doing. How does that make you feel now that you have a legacy?
Very proud.
Oh.
Very proud. Having my daughter be a legacy now, I'm just very proud of that because raising her, I never pushed Greek life on either one of my daughters. And so when she went off to school, they didn't even have Zetas there. And one of her goals was to bring them there before she left, and she did. So I was very proud of her for even wanting to, because it took her 4 years to get it done, but she got it done.
Oh, proud mama bird.
Yes, very
Okay.
proud.
So do you see your daughter modeling some of your behaviors?
Absolutely. She is mini me, the good side and some of the not so good.
Right.
But yeah, definitely do. And I think when she was in college and would call me about Zeta, that was one of the things I could share with her because I would counsel her on different questions she had. So she knows to ask the questions. Don't just assume how the chapter works. And that's how you learn. If you never ask questions, you don't learn how the sorority works.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Okay, so this one is what I would like to call a finer woman gem.
Okay.
So, what is one piece of advice that you would give to younger sorors as she strives to be a finer woman?
First thing that comes to mind, pay attention to how you dress. Tight showing all your shape, that's not finer. And when I see it, it does kind of bother me, but I'm like, so does that mean now I'm an old woman? I'm an old fogey stogie? But the word means something. Think about what the word means. And if you really can't be that, don't become a Zeta. Do something else. We are finer women. So you need to figure out what that means and then present yourself as such. So it's been an honor to me for the chapter to a couple times have recognized me as that, because it's not like I'm gonna walk out the door and be finer today. It's not like I think of it like that. But for that to be something they recognize, it's an honor that they recognize that in me. So it makes me very proud that I must be doing something a little right.
I think you're doing a lot right. We were both competing for
Yes.
Pearl of the Month and Pearl of the Quarter for Finer Womanhood. So definitely, I would never want to go against anybody else but you.
I feel the same way, Katrina.
All right.
I was so glad it wasn't me. All right.
Awesome. Well, listen, thank you for agreeing to meet with me to talk about Finer Womanhood.
Absolutely.
The month of March is very special, and
Yes.
I look forward to all that you're going to continue to do in this chapter.
Me as well. Thank you.
Finer Owens, and I have with me Davina Williams. She's a member of Sigma Omicron Zeta Chapter, and she's a recent nominee for Pearl of the Month for Finer Womanhood. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So we're going to get into this interview, right? So I'm going to ask you about 4 questions. So my first question for you is, what does Finer Womanhood mean to you at this stage of your life?
That's a great question. Finer Womanhood is really unique, I think, to every woman, every Zeta. For me in particular, it means freedom. It means authenticity. It changes as I grow and develop through every stage of my life. So Finer Womanhood for me at 25 is very different than Finer Womanhood for me, dare I say, at 46. And I'm fine with that. And so it's really very authentic to who I am and what I need to be in a moment. Freedom, I think, is the most important thing, which is why I mentioned that first. It's free to be truly who I am, free to adjust, free to be imperfect, free to learn is what that means to me.
Awesome. How many years have you been a member?
This year, 2026, will be 10 years in May.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Full decade.
And so how many years have you been a member of Sigma Omicron Zeta?
This year will be 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, transfer. Awesome. So my next question, when you first came into Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, did Finer Womanhood mean the same thing, or did you know what it meant?
Finer Womanhood did not mean the same thing. I thought I knew what it meant. I thought I knew what it meant. And really what I meant by that, or what I mean by that, is the definition that I was taught of Finer Womanhood. So I thought it was focused on appearance, aesthetic, presence, demeanor. It's so much bigger than that. It's broader. And now it's more personal to me, which is why I say for me, it's based in authenticity, because really it's the core of who I am. And so if I can't bring myself into my Finer Womanhood, am I really a finer woman?
Good answer. Okay, so my final question for you. What's one piece of advice that you would give to a new soror coming in?
Oh gosh, you can probably guess it. Truly be you.
Okay.
Bring yourself into Finer Womanhood, refine yourself in Zeta, and truly define what Finer Womanhood means for you. Trust the process. Be unique. Do not try to be perfect. I think imperfection is art, and we are all beautiful as the artistic beings that we are.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, and congratulations on your nomination of Finer Womanhood Pearl of the Month. We have Jamila Jenkins, and she wears many hats. She works hard for Sigma Omicron Zeta. One of her many hats that she wears is she's the co-chair of our retention committee. The retention committee manages the Pearl of the Month program. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask her some questions specific to Finer Womanhood. Are you ready?
I think so.
Awesome. So my first question is, what does Finer Womanhood mean to you at this stage of your life?
Well, it has evolved over time. So I will say it's knowing when to speak, knowing when to be quiet, knowing when to lead, and knowing when to follow.
Awesome. How many years have you been a member of, say, Zeta Phi Beta? Let's talk about
Going
Zeta Phi
on
Beta.
10 years.
Congratulations on your dime. Come on.
Thank you.
And how many years have you been a member of Sigma Omicron Zeta Chapter specifically?
8.5 years.
Awesome. Okay. So as the Pearl of the Month administrator, what has been some trends that you have seen come across your computer screen as far as the nominations for Pearl of the Month specific to Finer Womanhood?
So for Finer Womanhood, the pool of nominees for that is not as large as, say, sisterhood or service.
Okay.
Because, we do service well.
Yes.
But as it relates to Finer Womanhood, a lot of the ladies that are nominated, some of the content or, the write-ups, they're poised, they're kind, they operate in excellence, and they show well. So, it definitely kind of lends itself more so to how we appear.
Okay. And Pearl of the Month is specifically a program designed to recognize Sigma Omicron Zeta Chapter, our members, I should say. And we recognize them for their efforts in service, scholarship, Finer Womanhood, and sisterhood. Okay, so I just wanted to give you a little background on that first. All right, so my other question for you. When you first came in 10 years ago, did Finer Womanhood mean the same thing that it meant to you right now? Or did you even know what Finer Womanhood was?
No, I had to grow into that. I had to grow into Finer Womanhood. But back then, it was more reminiscent to me of my grandmother. And she operated in sophistication. And so that was more of what I leaned into. But now it's more of knowing my capacity, knowing my lane, and operating from that space.
Awesome answer. So my final question I'm going to ask Ms. Jamila. What is one piece of advice that you will give to a new soror coming into Zeta Phi Beta or Sigma Omicron Zeta Chapter? What's that one piece of advice that you would give her?
To know your capacity. Know your capacity, know where you thrive, know your lane, and stay in it.
Awesome. Thank you for joining me this evening.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Finer Womanhood to me is the art of living. But I want to pause right there for a moment. In today's world, being a finer woman doesn't mean perfection. No perfectionism here. It means purpose. It means integrity when no one is watching. It means accountability even when it's uncomfortable. And it means choosing excellence, not just for yourself, but for your community. For the women of Sigma Omicron Zeta, Finer Womanhood is lived daily in our careers, our families, and service, and how we show up for one another.
Thank you for joining us for another enriching episode of Finer Mindz, presented by the Sigma Omicron Zeta Chapter of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Stay connected with us for more episodes and community updates. Follow us on Facebook at Gwinnett Zetas and on Instagram at Gwinnett_Zeta. Until next time, continue to grow, continue to serve, and continue to embody a finer way of life.